Hey, I'm Dana Blair. I want to talk about this picture right here and the importance of health, mental, physical, emotional, and why you shouldn't wait for your health to get to a certain place before you start to live your life a certain way. This picture was taken December 21st, 2016 at NYU Medical Center. And before I kind of dig into this picture, I just kind of want to give a background as to how I got to that picture, how I got in that lovely gown and outfit and to that point. I don't handle stress well. I've gotten better, like after about 33 and getting rid of a loser boyfriend who was psycho, which that can alleviate a lot of stress. I just don't handle stress and anxiety well. It manifests in my body. I break out. I have hives. I would stop eating. A lot of people stress eat. I will stop eating. And of course that affects your body. You don't think about that in the moment, and especially when you're younger, in your 20s, you feel like you're going to live forever, but sometimes that can have long-term effects on your body. So of course I started to get into yoga and all of these things, but managing stress is like a 9 to 5. You have to make a conscious effort every single day. So when I walked into my doctor's office in September for like just a regular checkup, I did not expect my blood pressure to be as high as it was. I, by the grace of God, have been pretty healthy my entire life. I've been able to run a marathon. I danced forever, always been physically active, always had my weight under control. I'd never had surgery or anything like that, so I'd never broken a bone in school. I broke a toe once while dancing on stage, but I never went to the doctor. That's a whole nother story. So, you're expecting everything to be skippity-doo-dah-day, everything to be fine. Then my doctor was like, wait a minute, why is your blood pressure so damn high? What's going on with you? What are you eating? I thought you were training for another marathon. What's happening? And she was really, really upset and really irate. And so when she became upset, I became upset because now I'm thinking, wait, I wasn't upset that she was upset with me. I'm upset because now I feel like I have a major health issue happening. Like if it's not serious, why are you so upset? My diet had not changed. Yes, I was running for a marathon and I actually lost maybe 2 or 3 pounds. So I was technically a little bit lighter. But there was a lot of stress in my life. There were a lot of changes that were happening. I had just gotten into the remote year program. And I was debating whether or not to go on the program. I was debating whether or not to quit my job, what to do with my apartment, selling all of my things. I was dating this guy and I was like, well, he has some potential, but I don't really know. He wasn't really boiling my potato, if you understand what I'm saying. So, don't make a decision on someone you're lukewarm about, all of these different things. And add the fact that I don't handle stress well with the fact that I don't want to say to be perfect, but I have a very high bar set for myself and the people around me. A very, very high bar. So not only do I want to execute and I want to make changes and I want to make decisions, but I want to make the right ones, and I'm going to analyze the shit out of them. Long story short, for the next few days, I was going to the drugstore, putting my arm in that little machine, trying to see if I could bring my blood pressure down. Because my doctor was like, look, either you get a handle on this or we're putting you on medication. I don't want to start taking pills every day at 35 years old for blood pressure. That's just some shit I don't want to do. So I tell my doctor that about all of these stresses, about all of these changes. And she's kind of giving me the side eye. She's kind of looking at me like, all right, that's your story. But she said, Dana, I'm going to shoot straight with you, Given your family history, I'm concerned. Most of my patients your age, if I tell them, if I come in and I see their numbers are a certain way, I can tell them to lose 20 pounds. You don't have 20 pounds to lose. You're working out 5 days a week. Though you don't eat consistently, because I'm the worst with skipping breakfast. The worst. I don't eat poorly. Like, I'm not overindulging on fried foods or things like that. She said, I'm concerned. So I want you back in here in the next 3 days. If it's down, I'll dismiss it to a spike, in stress or maybe something you ate temporarily, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if it's still at these levels, we're going to start having some serious conversations. So for the next week and a half, I was literally in her office every 3 days. Blood pressure, got it. Numbers still high. I'm down at the Dwayne Reed. Got it. Numbers are still high. So this is why she was alarmed. My family history, right? My mother, her older sister, my aunt, and my grandmother, my mother's mother, all had brain aneurysms before the age of 45. From 40 to 44, to be a little bit more exact. My mother and my grandmother survived theirs. My aunt did not. Father's mother had a heart attack in her mid-40s as well. I never met my paternal grandmother. So, needless to say, she just wanted to make sure it wasn't a sign of something else possibly coming down the pipe. I did not want to go to the doctor. I am petrified of doctors. I mentioned my mother had a brain aneurysm, so that was my sophomore year of high school. And I just remember sitting on the floor of the hospital by myself because my mom's siblings live all throughout the United States. My parents had just divorced 3 months prior, and my father had run home to get everyone's phone numbers. My mom's siblings' phone numbers. He didn't have. My father barely knew how to work his cell phone at the time. Okay, he didn't have everything written down, and because my parents are divorced, and though I was a minor, at that point I became my mother's legal guardian. Within a span of 5 to 6 hours, my mom didn't know who I was. And so I'm sitting here at the hospital. My brother was away. He was doing an internship. He was in college, so he was being booked on a flight to fly back home. And I'm sitting on the floor. And in that moment, I remember smells, I remember sounds, everything about a hospital or a doctor's office brings me back to that moment, and it's very difficult for me. So to go to a doctor just for a regular checkup is one of the hardest things for me. So I put getting my MRI off as long as possible. So we're saying September I started having some blood pressure issues. October, I'm still having those same high numbers. November, I'm still having those same high numbers, so I finally made my appointment. Don't be like me and procrastinate. 4 months is a very long time. 4 months can make a big difference. Don't be like Dana. Do as I say, not as I do. And so I called 2 of my friends to make sure that their schedules were free and that they could come with me to get this MRI done. And my parents knew, my brother knew, a couple of my close girlfriends knew that I was about to go in that morning. So I had 2 of my friends meet me at NYU, and then I had busied my day meeting and hanging out with other friends throughout the afternoon. So I was like, if it's good news, then I have a great day and I have a jam-packed, action-packed, fun weekend plan. If it's bad news or something doesn't seem right, then I have all my friends around me. I get to the medical center, fill out all my paperwork, and I changed clothes, and then I took this picture. And I said, there was just something about the moment I needed to capture. There was something about that moment because I knew it was either going to be really good or it was going to be really bad. And if it was bad, I wanted to remember that it wasn't always bad, and that this too shall pass. And if it was really good, then I wanted it to serve as a reminder to myself about how I need to live my life moving forward, in terms of taking care of my health, in terms of mental health, in terms of everything. So got on the table, and I'm sitting there and I'm going through my little scan. They've strapped my head in and all this fun stuff. And when you don't have hair, I don't know how many of you have had an MRI of your head, but when you don't have hair, the vibration feels really funny. Everything that's happening in there, like when your head's strapped in. So it just kept itching. Like, it felt super itchy and I couldn't move, and all I wanted to do was itch it. And they're like, oh, what radio station do you want to listen to? And I'm like, I can't think about what radio station I want to listen to. I'm not thinking about anything else other than the fact that if I get off this fucking table, I am going and quitting my job. Like, that's honestly all I can think about. I am going to quit my job and I'm going to chase my dreams. I'm going to take the biggest leap of faith, and I'm going to leave it all on the table. I'm going to leave it all on the court. I'm going to leave it all out there, and even if it kills me. And if it does, the people who knew me are going to be like, damn, Dana did that. I promised myself that. Got off the table. My friends are in the lobby. We go, we have brunch, we have mimosas. 48 hours later, I speak to my doctor. My skin is completely clean by the grace of God. And I said, okay, great. Thank you so much. My blood pressure was down. And the next day I hopped on a plane and I went home to Louisiana. I went home, had a great Christmas, had a great birthday, saw friends, saw family. I did a lot of praying and soul searching, and came back to New York first week of January, and then I resigned from my job. I was like, you ain't gonna punk out now. Like, you can't be on an MRI table, you can't be in a moment of need and have a conversation with God and pray for something and then punk out on the back end. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that. Every time I take a trip, I take a video. I take a video and pictures, and I say, remember this moment. Remember this moment when you're stressed out, when you're angry about life, when a man has broken your heart, when a boss has pissed you off, when your money ain't right, you know. Remember these moments, because the bad moments are temporary. Bad moments are temporary. And there's a lot more good than there is bad. I also have a gratitude jar that a friend of mine started, and she and her husband do it. And whether it's good or bad, I write down notes in this jar and I put it in a jar. And whenever I'm having really down days, I'll pull notes out of the jar. And I've actually shared this with you guys here on the site and with a few of my other friends who now share it with their followers and their sites. So I keep this picture, and I shared this picture as I keep my other vacation videos and special moment videos, because I want to remind myself and remind you who are on this journey with me about what's important in life, what's important to you. And the best way to take care of yourself is by living your best life.